Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust from the Capital Region's leading experts in real estate and all related fields. From the latest real estate trends to the best mortgage rates, from curb appeal to home warranty, this is the talk show that will help you save and make the most when it comes to buying or selling your most valuable asset. Now, here's your host, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, The Property Shop, John Bevilacqua.
Good morning, everybody. Wow, we're just like running into the studio here. Said hi to Phil, and
you guys are hanging out in the break room.
And yeah, we were. We were kind of shooting the breeze, as they say. Johnny, listen, the weather out there is. It's awful, man.
It's rain. It's 43 degrees.
Yeah,
and you're right. It's terrible.
It's hard to remember. It's January.
I know. However, it plays into our show because we got Matt Stonecifer from Ace Home Inspections on again today. What's up, Matt?
Good morning.
How you doing, buddy?
Right, Matt.
Doing good.
On the air, man. We went from like break room to the air in like Mach 5. So
record time.
But the weather plays into our show today because it's, I know Matt's a big winter guy. He was an ex-snowmobiler, pro snowmobiler, so he loves snow. I'm a big skier. I love snow. And it does not feel like the winter time.
No,
it hasn't felt like winter at all this year.
Not at all.
T-shirt weather like 2 days ago.
Like Matt's in a T-shirt right now, so it's crazy. It's like the spring it's like the fall never went away. Now, what this means to a lot of homeowners is there's a lot of issues with, especially the snow melt, right? We got, 6-8 inches last week. It's all gone now.
All gone.
Had to go somewhere, so it's probably in a lot of
And it's raining on top of it.
And it's raining on top of it. It's probably in a lot of people's basements. Matt, before we get into it, the reason, I guess talk about the mission of the show, the reason we're up at, this hour on a Saturday morning away from our kids and our family is because the mission of the show is to bring you guys the most up-to-date real estate information, tips, tricks, strategies to sell your home, how to pass your home inspection, how not to get caught in traps of home inspection. It's what I've done for the past 20 years. Matt's been doing it forever. We're not bragging. We're just looking for the opportunity to earn your business and buy and sell the place that you call home. So that is what the mission of the show is. And Matt and I are first half of the show, we're going to talk about the hazards, everything that could possibly go wrong with the snow, with the excessive rain that we've been having. And then second half of the show, Matt has got, we put together about 15 different tips that I don't know, we're not going to get to 15. So Matt and I are going to cherry pick the ones that we think are the most relevant and most common to help people get over excessive rain and snow melt when it comes to their home and how that could affect their home inspection. We're going to hear from our sponsors, hear Matt's commercial, and when we come back, we're going to get right into it.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
It's John Tesh. If you're thinking of selling your home, let me take the stress out of deciding which agent to hire. In the Capital Region, the agent I recommend is John Bevilacqua, founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at The Property Shop. So for 2 decades, John has helped more than 2,500 families buy and sell the place they call home. That's a solid track record, one that's backed up by dozens of 5-star reviews. Hello. In fact, John is so confident in his marketing system to attract the right buyer for your home that he guarantees to sell it at a price and deadline you agreed to, or he's going to buy it himself for cash. And he provides that guarantee in writing. The agent I trust is John Bevilacqua, and he's the agent you should trust too. His name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So write this number down. It's 518-957-SOLD. That's easy. 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. I love that one. JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com, and you'll get your home sold guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecifer, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the Capital Region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com. Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecifer, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the capital region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, guys, we are back. I'm sitting here with Matt Stonecifer, owner of Ace Home Inspections, longtime home inspector. Also has another business where he does sewer, septic, mostly septic. I shouldn't say sewer, but he does excavation, septic repair, inspections, everything. I mean, he pretty much takes care of all your number two needs, as they like to say.
Well, see, Matt's just not afraid to get dirty.
He's not afraid.
That's right.
No,
see, that's what makes him good.
We got to get the guy from was it Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe. We got to get him.
Mike Rowe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So anyway, hey, listen, call in show, guys. 518-476-5900, 476-5900. We're talking about excessive rain and snowmelt issues that can affect your home in the Northeast, and this is the season to talk about it. And,
Boy, and the weather, too.
And the weather.
Yeah, I got to say, Matt, I mean, I've been nervous. Every day I check my basement 3 times a day just to make sure it's still dry.
What have you been seeing on inspections, Matt?
That's it. Just wet basements.
Yeah.
With the amount of times we're hearing from homeowners. I've never had water before, but I have water this year.
I never have
issues.
either, thank goodness, but you never know.
You never know. I mean, I had it at my house last year. I walked downstairs, there's 3 inches of water across the whole basement. Doesn't have to be older houses.
So and again, you know more about the technical stuff. Is this because the water table is so overwhelmed?
It's elevated. The ground saturated. The ground is almost purely saturated. You dig into anywhere that's not sand, and it's just standing water. The water tables are elevated. The ground is saturated. The water has nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. So it's gonna find a place in your basement to settle in, which can lead to so much. I mean, I know it sounds obvious, hey, I got water in my basement. That's not good. But it could get worse, right? Because it could lead to foundational issues.
For sure. I mean, you got to remember the kind of cardinal rule is that water is the enemy of a house. 90% of the problems we see, whether it's foundation issues, wood rot, all these issues, they're water based. It's all around water.
Yep.
So you get water in your basement. Hydrostatic pressure. If you get a lot of water around the outside of your house and it's standing water, it can push a foundation wall in.
I was going to say
water's got to go somewhere.
So that leads to cracks. That leads to
cracks and
seepage.
bowing, moving.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay. So that becomes a big issue. I know pests can become a big issue because of the dampness, because of the moisture. Talk about it.
Anything, termites, carpenter ants, all that stuff.
And they love
it starts
moisture,
with wet.
Mm-hmm.
They like wet wood. Wood rot usually leads to those sort of things. So,
right.
Stuff being wet again comes back to, and it kills the house.
Kills the house.
Kills it.
Pushes in mice, rodents that might be looking for your warm, dry furnace, hoping that your furnace is still running and didn't get kicked out by the water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and do you see a lot of furnace damage?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen houses in the last year that you go to open the basement and there's water to the floorboards. It's a swimming pool.
Right.
Then you got your electrical panels, your furnace, your boiler, your water heater, what have you.
Yeah.
All that stuff's under the water. You've just shortened the lifespan or killed it at that time.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's the worst. And do you see more sump pump failures? Is it more like the sump pump failed, or is it just overwhelmed because it can't keep up?
So you kind of see it 2 ways. One is that you see a basement that someone goes, well, I have a little bit of water, but it kind of drains out in a way and it'll be fine. Well, a little bit becomes a lot when we get 3 inches of rain over the course of the night.
Yep.
The other thing is sump pump failures. I mean, these are components. If you ever went and bought a sump pump, they're not that expensive.
Okay. These
are components that have a little bit higher of a failure rate, especially if you're just doing the normal, pedestal style big box store. Mm-hmm. Those have a failure rate.
Okay.
So, I mean, making sure that they function before you need them is always key. It doesn't take much to go down there and just flick it on and see if it works. Make sure everything is cycling appropriately.
Right.
You got heavy rain, take a close look. Just go check your basement.
Yep.
See if you've got water kicking up. Try to catch it ahead of time.
Why is it that they make cheap sump pumps? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like an emergency item. Like
yeah,
it should
you're
be,
right. There ought to be a law, but there's not.
It should be built to last. You would think. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you would
pretty
think.
insane.
I think it's just having options. You know,
Having
not everybody's got the $700 for a more high-end cast iron and stainless steel unit.
Yep.
Sometimes all you can afford is that plastic unit. It's still better than nothing.
It's better than
that's
nothing.
right. That's right.
That's true. So basements, big culprit for excessive water, but I mean, obviously the roof, takes a licking in all this too, right? You got weight from the snow. You've just got, the thawing. You
get all this wind. You get that driven rain. Sometimes driven rain can push moisture in on a roof that's perfectly fine because it'll find a way. Roofs rely heavily on gravity and water to go down. Driven rain can cause some weird issues, especially you got, slate roofs or clay tile roofs or, shake roofs. I mean, all those exist there in the Capital District. Yeah. Those are a little bit more susceptible to rain doing weird things.
Yeah, I remember having, it only happened one time, but it was, so I have a slate roof, but then I have a small secondary roof that's like a 3-tab shingle. Yeah. And it was summertime, it had nothing to do with the winter, but it was a side rain that just seeped up under the shingles. And came into my kitchen ceiling. It only happened once.
An anomaly, yeah.
It was just
it does happen.
Weird
extreme weather
can
cause very unique house anomalies.
But because of the thaw and the excessiveness, you also have the risk for ice dams in the gutters and
for sure
those types of problems, right? Do you see that?
Especially when we see these big temperature swings, cold, hot. You could get ice damming, rapid melts. You get massive snow melt. It could take a gutter off the side of your house. Right. It could clog your gutters. You got debris in your gutter with these weird seasonal shifts. I mean, last year we had that day that went from 60 degrees to 0 overnight. Yeah. I mean, my boiler, one of the boilers at my house caught fire.
Really?
Because it froze rapidly and the flame kicked back and actually burnt all the wires out.
And the weather forecast for the upcoming week, we are going to be below freezing. It's Monday through Friday next week.
Right.
Sudden
be in the 20s.
Change. Yeah. That's hard, especially when the ground is wet.
Yeah.
Well, it's, I don't know. Something's broke upstairs with Mother Nature because I remember growing up.
Guess.
And Matt grew up in New Hampshire. I mean, like these are we're cold weather guys. I don't remember it being this warm in January.
No. Now running an excavation company, I'm okay with it being this warm in January. We're still digging. So.
You're still digging, right? You don't have to worry about ground thaw anymore. But it's kind of sad to say. Speaking of which, landslides, soil erosion. I mean, do you see? You got to be seeing this, right?
For sure. I mean, how many houses around here are built on hills?
Yeah.
You got to be cognizant of those things. If you've got some, erosion issues, water runoff issues, you start to see destabilization. Being conscious of that.
Yeah.
That's also going to affect your retaining walls. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of water behind a retaining wall that may not have a drainage system. Yeah. That thing can start to destabilize. So you got to keep an eye out. See if that thing starts to lean or move, or you see water pooling behind it. These are all things that can cause soil destabilization.
But don't a lot of times the retaining walls have some sort of support, like
dead man's back into the wall or something? They're supposed to.
Yeah, they're supposed to. They're right.
There's supposed to be a lot of things that don't get happen in houses too.
Okay, I get it. Okay, so
roofs aren't supposed to leak either, but I find roof leaks all the time.
That's right. So sewer backups probably too. You see,
the water, heavy water is hard on the city sewer and storm drain systems. Yeah. A lot of the inner city houses are tied into the city water or the city drains and storm drains.
Yeah,
and a lot of houses, these old roof drain, flat roof buildings. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, we put those into the storm drain. Older installs, they go into the sewer a lot, regardless as to whether the city wants that or not. Now you can overwhelm a 4-inch line, and you can end up with backups on the city side too.
Listen, I want to before the break, I want to tie it back into the inspection. So, at the time of inspection, can you let's say today you go out for an inspection and you're in a basement that doesn't usually flood and now is flooding because of the excessive weather. Mm-hmm. How do you explain this to the new buyer?
So we look for a couple key aspects with that. We're going to look at the appliances, stored items in the basement, and some other things to see if it looks like a perpetual issue or an anomaly issue. Mm-hmm. If we've got standing water in a basement, but the water heater has no corrosion, there's wooden storage in the shelves, there's no corrosion, there's no water damage on them, we can kind of lean into this looks like it's an extreme anomaly due to the weather. We still recommend doing some mitigation because clearly it can happen, but it's not a persistent problem. Now, if we got a rusty boiler, a rusty water heater, the shelves are rotten, we can say, hey, this looks like it's wet all the time. Yeah. You've got to do some mitigation processes here.
Sometimes there's evidence on the actual wallboard.
You'll see stain lines on it. The metal columns in the middle will be rusting out on the bottom. All
you
key
can see
signs.
that stain,
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting close to the break. We got Matt Stonecifer here from Ace Home Inspection. Listen, call-in show, guys, 476-5900. Share your disaster story with us with this excessive weather. We'll tie it back to home inspections. When we come back after the break, Matt's going to give us the top 5 tips. We're going to take 5 of the top 15 tips after the break on how you guys can prevent excessive weather from ruining your house right here on the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Real Estate Talk Show.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN. Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. What's really the best rate? Which term makes sense? Hi, I'm Ben Forcucci at Freedom One Funding in Latham. We work with 10 different lenders who provide 100 different mortgage products. I'll listen to what your needs are, and then I'll do the work to find the right option for your particular situation. We have special expertise in helping first-time home buyers. So eliminate the stress and call me today at 542-LOAN. I'm Ben Forcucci from Freedom One Funding, and I'll do the shopping for you. Call 542-LOAN.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
All right, guys, second half of the show. Sitting here, Matt Stonecifer, Ace Home Inspections, talking about Johnny G, thinking we nailed the topic today because of where we're at. And you know what? Hey,
That's
listen,
right.
One of the reasons the inspiration kind of for the show was I was at hockey the other day, and poor guy was showing me pictures of his basement that he lived out in Brunswick, and he lives on a hill, and literally like Matt, we were just talking on the break, Matt had been in a basement with 6 foot of water, and he probably had 5 or 6 feet of water, kicked out the furnace.
A lot of clay in Brunswick.
And then you feel bad for these folks because, the deductible's like $2,500, and he's like,
your homeowner's insurance may not even cover flood damage if you're not paying attention.
Good point. We're going to get into that. So, again, call-in show, guys, 476-5900. And remember, what Matt and I try to do to prevent a lot of this stuff is we have our certified pre-owned program where we come in. Actually, we got an open house for a house that we just pre-inspected. I think it was like beginning of December.
Yep.
And had a buyer come through yesterday, and they're like, how's the house? How's the roof? I sasaid, you know what? I said, here's the pre-inspection. Everything.
It's like your Carfax report on the house.
Here's the Carfax. Yeah. They're kind of nitpicking a little bit, like, it's older windows. But I'm like, listen, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, there's no majors that failed during the pre-inspection. You can go into this house confidently knowing that at the time, by the time you buy this house, things are going to be in good shape. Yeah, you're going to have some repairs and small stuff to do. That's normal. But you're not looking at anything over $1,500.
Your brand new house will also have small things to fix. Nothing is perfect.
There is no perfect. So, certified pre-owned system, if you guys are interested in finding out how that works, and if you're looking to list your home and want to have it pre-certified, give us a call, 476-5900. All right, so with that being said, because we got to fly through this, I've got about 15 tips that I came up with to prevent these kinds of mishaps. And Matt, Let's talk about the top 5. What would you say number 1 preventive maintenance item?
Number 1 is going to be being vigilant, being observant, keeping an eye on your house. The house is not something you can just let go and neglect and hope it stays together. Keep an eye out. If you see an extreme weather situation coming in,
free and easy,
one just happened, walk around. Take a walk around the outside. Take a walk around the inside. Look at those key things. Look for things that are changing. Look for wet areas. Just keep an eye out. Look for places that are holding water outside. Maybe you got some settling ground or a gutter that's not working. So being vigilant. I mean, it doesn't cost you a thing to just pay attention.
Tune into Magic 100.5 and listen to Johnny G. He's always talking about the weather. Get your weather report right here.
Yeah, we are.
Magic.
Yeah.
So that's a free and easy tip, right?
Free and easy.
Knowing what's going on. Insurance coverage.
Yes.
You
should know your insurance coverage. Most people don't. I mean, when I bought my first house, I had no clue what was covered.
Yep.
Found out the hard way when I had some frost heaving that damaged an addition and it wasn't covered because it wasn't covered under my policy.
Oh,
right.
boy.
Frost heaving.
It heaved the whole addition of the house up. I used to
I've
live
seen
way
that,
up north.
yeah.
Frost went like 7 feet into the ground one year and moved my house.
Wow.
man.
Wasn't covered.
Wasn't covered. Okay, so that's good to know, especially with excessive rain and flood coverage isn't common on your home insurance.
No.
What else?
So keeping an eye on those systems, like I said, checking your gutters. You should be making sure your gutters are clean in the fall before we hit winter season because they got to work.
Yep.
When they start to get clogged, they can back pitch, they get heavy, they can rip off,
Yep.
they don't work. Gutters are critical to getting water out and away from a house. The amount of water that comes off, the volume of water that comes off a roof is massive.
Yeah.
Not only making sure those gutters exist, but making sure those runoff drains that everybody takes off because they don't want to mow around them, make sure those exist. That water is going to go 6 to 10 feet away from your house. Dropping it in one portion on the outside of the house is just taking all the water and concentrating it in one area.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you get it out and away.
Okay, makes sense. We talked about this on another show about snow rakes and removing snow off roofs. Was that not a good idea, or I can't remember?
I wouldn't do it unless it's necessary.
Okay.
So newer houses, properly ventilated houses, we don't usually get frost damming. You don't get those dams on the outside. Now, older houses are like, we have a lot of capes. Rotterdam area, it's all capes. Those houses are much more susceptible to frost damming.
Yep.
So you want to keep that snow. You don't have to clear the whole roof, but that bottom couple of feet on the overhang is our critical concerning point.
Okay. Any attic prevention stuff that we can...
If you have access and you're willing to access, I'm not saying everybody should crawl through every little scuttle hole, but just keeping an eye out. Maybe check it once. I check mine like once a year just to make sure that no leaks have popped up. It also helps you know if anybody's living up there, pests or anything.
Sure.
Try to catch stuff that
maybe
sooner
an
you can
aunt
catch
or an
stuff the
uncle
better.
that you didn't know about
Hey.
could be right.
Yeah, the neighbor's kid or something has moved in.
Yeah, just stick your head up with a flashlight, look around.
Just take even if you shove your camera up there and take a video with a flash on for a minute, and just to see oh man, that looks wet over there. Maybe I need to have somebody come in and see if my roof's leaking. You may be able to repair rather than replace, and if you let it go, it's going to turn to a replacement.
Okay. Ceiling, windows, doors, got to be an obvious one.
Yeah,
right?
you know what a big one I see a lot with those double hung windows that open from top and bottom?
Yep.
You got to lock them or else the top window sash will slowly drop and you'll have major heat losses there. You can get water damage.
Yeah.
The other big thing when it comes to mold and moisture, open your curtains. A lot of people use those thermal curtains. They keep them closed year round. It traps moisture between the two. It can rot your windows. It can cause mold growth. I see mold growth on windows all the time. It's usually in a bedroom because they never open their curtains. Open those curtains during the day and let a little bit of sunlight in. Get that thermal gain in there.
I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah, it's
makes
wicked
sense.
common. I've seen wooden windows completely rotten out from it.
Well, another one quick. I mean, we're getting through these. We might get through all 15 if we're good enough. Getting. You talked about this with you got 6 foot of water in your basement. Like getting valuables. I mean, basements are for storage, right? For the most part. Talk about getting valuables and.
Yeah, I mean,
electronics.
anything that you have of value, you got to be cognizant to the situation you have at hand. Storing in a wet basement is always going to be a risk. Things are going to get moldy. Things can get damaged. You don't want your prized family jewels down in the basement that gets wet. So being cognizant of where and how you store things and what you store them in. Plastic containers versus cardboard boxes because basements will be kind of musky.
Yeah, we have metal shelves and plastic containers, and we figure that should help.
Exactly. It also helps with pests and stuff like that, bugs and anything. Basements are basements. They're an unfinished space for the most part.
That's right. Can you elevate? And a lot of times you see the furnaces elevated anyway upon installation. But once they're installed, can you bring them back up?
Not simple.
Not
You're
easy,
talking an installation problem, and now you got to change ductwork and things like that. So it's not an easy thing after the fact.
Okay, so try to do that if you're getting a new furnace. Now, yard drainage, that's kind of your expertise with the excavating. What can you do?
So if you have low areas around the property, it is not that expensive to go through and fix pitch. Your house needs to drain out in the way. Same thing with the gutters. All water needs to drain out in the way.
Okay.
Changing grade is not that big of a deal. Even French drains, if you got to put some drainage, some gravel drains or French drains around the outside to just try to get some water issues out in the way, it's a lot cheaper than fixing a structural foundation issue. So being ahead of things, catch it before it causes a problem. If you have pooling water and it's within 10 feet of the house, you should really be doing something to mitigate that issue.
Matt, what is a French drain?
So you dig a trench down, you put gravel in with a pipe, and it actually gives, it's basically a trench with a pipe in the bottom.
I got it.
So it's a subsurface drain to just give the water somewhere to go and hopefully catch it while it's in the ground. I've got them all over my property. I've got clay on my land, wicked water problems, and I've mitigated 99% of the water around our house.
There's a couple types of French drains, too. There's an internal French drain where you have it in your basement, right? And then there's external. So a lot of older homes you see at Johnny where it's basically they took the basement floor and maybe like a 3-inch kind of gap.
They just cut a trench around the inside. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's kind of a generic statement that applies to a couple of different things depending on where we're talking. I mean, you could do French drains outside in the field if you wanted to mitigate some moisture.
All right, listen. We got a quick sponsor break. We only got 3 left, so I think we can wrap this all up in after the break. 3 more to go, and we'll stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
To schedule an appointment with John Bevilacqua to help you buy or sell your home, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. John will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show here on Magic 100.5 and AM 590.
Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com. Buying or selling the place you call home can be stressful. When you have questions, you don't want to wait for answers. Well, for 20 years, Kim Salerno and her team at Salerno Law have built a solid reputation with buyers, sellers, and real estate agents as fast, respectful communicators. They know Salerno Law will protect their rights and respond quickly when a question arises. Trust Salerno Law. Call 518-309-3404 and check out their 5-star reviews at SalernoLawNY.com.
Hi, I'm Matthew Stonecifer, owner of Ace Home Inspections. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let your agent know that you want to work with Ace Home Inspections because you insist on the best home inspection services in the capital region. You can also expect a home warranty, pest inspection, and mold assessment included at no additional cost. You deserve better than just a guy in a truck with a notepad. At Ace Home Inspections, we are fully staffed and here for you when you call 518-727-7091 or visit us online at acehomeny.com.
If you're buying or selling your home and would like to schedule an appointment with John, call 518-957-SOLD or go to johnnyhasthebuyers.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show and your host, John Bevilacqua.
Okay, guys, we're sitting here with Matt Stonecifer from Ace Home Inspections. We're talking about excessive rain and snow runoff, damaging and really making a mess of your house. So we're on the last 3 tips out of 15 on how you can prevent excessive rain and snow melt from messing up your house.
In 90 seconds. Let's see if you can do
90 seconds. Okay. Yeah. We talked about this. Test your sump pump.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Testing sump pump. Checking your landscape for low trim. I mean, do you see this often where landscape gets affected?
Yep. It causes a lot of problems.
Rain barrels? I know this sounds kind of random. Do you see them in use anymore?
You can use them. A lot of times people use them more for irrigation of gardens and stuff.
Okay.
New York's weird about collecting rainwater.
Okay. And flood sensors as a possibility.
So if you know you have a water issue, then let's build some extra stuff in. Okay. Let's put maybe a backup sump pump that's not electrically based. They have water-based and battery backup systems.
Okay.
And put some sensors down there so if it's going to be wet, you know it's wet.
Okay. And maintain your storm drains. And well, more so let the city know, let the city know that there's an issue because you can't control that. So let them know like something's going on. The storm drain, this way here they can come and maintain it. It doesn't back up in your house. So that's it, guys. I got
one more tip I'm going to hit you with real quick. Keep an eye on your septic system. When the water is wet and the ground is saturated, if you got an older leach field or just a gravity-fed leach field, it's hard on it because the ground, you're adding more water to a wet soil. So if you start to hear septic issues, be preventative there. If you start to hear gurgling in your drains or anything like that, you got to get on top of it because it could be the water causing a backup of your leach field.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. That was great advice. Now, listen, if you guys are looking to trade down to your house, you're looking for the right investment, reach out to us, 957-SOLD. That's 957-7653. Ask about our VIP homeowner service. Ask about our investor newsletter called In-House. And don't forget, next week we got the big...
the Ronald McDonald House Radiothon.
That's right, the Radiothon. All of our portion of our commissions go to Ronald McDonald and charity, so you're a first. Help the kids. Don't forget to tune in next Saturday. We got a special guest on. I don't know who that is yet, but it's going to be special. I'll tell you that much. It's extra special right here on the Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Real Estate Show. Matt, thank you very much. Any closing thoughts?
Just stay drive, everybody.
All right. Thanks, guys.
The Your Home Sold Guaranteed Radio Show is presented by Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the property shop. Join broker and founder John Bevilacqua every Saturday morning at 8:30 to hear about the latest real estate trends here in the capital region, where to find the best mortgage rates, home insurance, home warranties, and more. To speak to John about buying or selling your home, call now to schedule an appointment. 518-957-SOLD. That's 518-957-7653. Or go to JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com. That's JohnnyHasTheBuyers.com.